Hi, Katrina Chown here. Today's a pretty big day for me. I wish I could call it a day in the life of, but it's not always this busy. I'm going to have lunch with Walter Block. It's been a couple months at least, maybe the summertime, since I've seen him, and some of you may know that he lives around my neighborhood when he's not teaching. So he and I are going to get together for lunch and catch up. And later on today, there's an event in downtown Vancouver called the Liberty Mix and Mingle. And people, different types of libertarians are going to show up. There's going to be a few speakers, and I'm going to interview them and get some footage of that as well. And so I'm going to post that for you guys, and so you can see what it's like to be a libertarian in Vancouver. So I'm sitting here with Walter Block for lunch, and one topic just came up, which was the first time that I met you, and it was kind of a rock star moment for me. I don't know. Well, I mean, it was because I was still 18, and I had just gotten into libertarianism, and I had just read your book, Defending the Undefendable. I had just finished reading it, and I had no idea that you lived nearby. And you showed up to the West Coast Libertarian Foundation supper club, or the barbecue, the summer barbecue.
Ah.
And you show up. I didn't know that you were coming.
Well, this is part of what it's like to be a libertarian living in Vancouver with a baby.
Totally. So, you show up to this barbecue, and I was not expecting that. And I had no idea that you lived in Vancouver. And we're shaking hands, and I'm just thinking, I just read this guy's book, and this guy, I mean, I was working at a place that had unions, and I had just told everyone that I would be proud to be a scout. And I had just learned that word because of you. And here you go, show up at my barbecue. And it was just like this rock star moment. I thought, oh my goodness, I know Walter Block now. And like, we're shaking hands, and it was, it's like it's the barbecue, the summer barbecue is totally laid back.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that barbecue?
I do. I remember the barbecue was in your mother's house, and it was a big backyard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, good.
I didn't realize that was the first time we met, though.
Yes, yeah. And ever since then, I thought, so cool. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Walter Block and I are, kind of buddies or whatever it was.
Yes, we're buddies. Well, when I first met Murray Rothbard, I had this sort of rock star thing, and I never really understood. All he wanted to do was be friends with me. And that's all I want to do with you, is be friends with you. And you get this, you put up on a pinnacle or something, and people worship you. I mean, it's not. It's, we're just folks. We're all doing our best to promote liberty in our own way. And whoops,
I got it.
some of us are dropping pacifiers. So I don't mean to compare myself with Murray Rothbard. I knew Murray Rothbard, and I know Murray Rothbard, but a lot of young people nowadays sort of look up to me like that, and it's sort of a pain in the neck.
Okay, well, I'll try my best not to idolize you.
No, you're doing just fine. We've been buddies for many years, and I never got that vibe from you that I was inapproachable or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
And I just actually read online that Ron Paul has appealed to the United Nations for him to get the domain of ronpaul.com, and I think, and someone's mentioned this as a comment, like, this is a really good example of not to put your idols up too high, is because then you see a situation like this where many libertarians would disagree with his actions and go, well, like, not everyone's gonna, you can't really put anyone up as an idol, can you?
Well, they say if you get 10 libertarians in a room, you're going to get 11 different views on whatever it is. And libertarianism, sort of herding libertarians like herding cats. You can't do it. People disagree, and I venerate Ron Paul. I have a book out on him where I just think he's the greatest thing ever. And anyone who criticizes him, I get on their case, especially libertarians. Like, if a Krugman criticizes Ron Paul, well, he's an ignorant savage, so it doesn't matter. But when Wendy McElroy, who's a very famous Canadian libertarian, or Stephen Molyneux criticize him, I sort of get hot under the collar and have to defend Ron. But, I don't agree with Ron on everything, and I gave him only a 97 out of 100 on the libertarian meter. Of course, that's my meter, and, other people might have different views. And, one of the areas I disagree with him is on immigration, another is abortion. And now this new thing with the domain name ronpaul.com, I think that's a problem. But, So you disagree on one or two things. I mean, he's a magnificent reader. I mean, he goes
He's
to
done so much.